Ah, boy. A lady is saying that she thinks that men needs to be more responsible when they're making kids. How do you feel about that, Crystal?
Yes, of course I'm gonna say yes because I'm gonna be semi-biased.
And I actually do agree. I do agree with her as well. I think if you had intercourse with someone,
get down with somebody.
yes, you're supposed to know that consequences do come from it.
Yeah.
And you gotta step up and do what's right. I mean, it's kind of sad that you would get someone pregnant and not want to deal with the.
It's sad because the woman needs support, the child needs that support, and
Yeah.
I think it's a bit selfish. Like, okay, so I could understand sometimes what might go through a man's head, like he might panic, freak out, like, oh my goodness, I have a child, I wasn't ready. But at the same time, you need to kind of come out. I mean, it's best that you like come out of that space. If you need to get help, get help. But it's best to come out of that space and think that there is another human being that did not ask to be on earth, did not ask to
Exactly.
be born, that needs you. They need you.
And men need to be responsible too. You can't expect to have one child with somebody. That relationship then work out and then you go about now. And then you get another lady pregnant. And you ain't walking. So you're just out here just
Do you know how much for
being fruitful
a
and
French letter?
multiplying and all that thing.
Do you know how much for a French letter?
A French.
A French letter.
What's
A
that?
French letter is like what, $3 or something. If you wanna go a French letter, it's about $10 a pack with 3 in it. So you got a little bit of extra something.
What is
But
that?
you can get them for free.
I don't
Like
know what
many
you're talking about.
health ministries send them out for free. Just walk into a clinic because can I have a French letter, please? It's a condom.
Oh, I catch now. Yes. So why don't you just say contraceptive?
Contraceptives, because I'm speaking specifically to the men.
Oh my gosh.
Before we go forward, right? We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at Extreme 104 SVG. So let's read what the listener had to say, that she wants to get something off of her chest this morning. She say, I fed up on my child father. She says, hey, this is what I want to get off my chest. They really need to deal with these men who do not take care of their responsibility. They have children and they don't want to take care of them. And they know they know what they should do for these children. They feel as a mother have to do everything themselves because the mother making sure the mothers are making sure that they do their part. It's time enough for them to give these men a serious punishment. They want to get women pregnant and then leave the woman to do everything. That's what I want to get off my chest. And I'm totally fed up of these men. They're not even should be called men. They shouldn't even be called men. They should be called little boys. There are some teenagers who become fathers in their teens and who step up, like you would still consider them boys, but who actually step up. Like you see them holding the baby and taking care of the child. So I feel like for the younger folks who are actually being responsible, big up yourselves. Y'all setting an example for big hard Batmen in their 30s and whatever who not even doing what they're supposed to be doing and they know better. All right.
Somebody say amen. Good topic. We have a response here.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That, man.
Good morning. These men have to start stepping up to taking care of their children. But while I get is that it takes two to tango, the ladies really do have all the cards in the deck. Women have to give that consent before anything can happen. So if they're more responsible with the type of guys they sleep with, then the chance of getting pregnant for a guy who can't take care of a child. How does a lady sleep with a good-looking, well-dressed, unemployed man and then expect him to take care of a child? Okay, so you like a guy. Make sure he protects himself, or she could take the preventive measures herself. I know you say it's both responsibility, but whenever I hear men start complaining about women not minding, whenever I hear men start complaining about women not minding their children, I'll put the first responsibilities on men. How do you feel about that? Right?
I feel like it's giving men a free pass to do whatever they want and not be held accountable for their actions. That's how I feel about it, right? And I don't know. Like, okay, so a woman has an issue with a child father. He's not taking up the mantle to take care of his child. Why can't she freely express that as a woman or as a woman without being told you shouldn't have opened your legs in the first place? Okay, that has gone, right? It has passed.
Yes, but the baby is
what we're now dealing with is the man who is not funding up, the man who is not coming around, the man who is not doing what really and truly he should be doing. Let us deal with that issue. And how do we fix that?
Well, I know
It's not
family courts usually make you pay. You pay money.
If you want
And
to
if you
put the
don't-
man through the system, like
Yeah.
$150, which ain't really going anywhere, because 2 pack of Pampers is $120 if you get a good deal somewhere. Money done.
Right. So the issue would be is like to raise the money.
Who to raise the money?
The family court.
I feel like
The family court should probably raise the money.
no. Oh, raise them.
Yeah,
I mean, it
raise-
depends. It depends.
Raise,
it depends.
raise
it
the money.
depends. It
But I
depends.
think they put a lot of stuff into factor as into how much you
Yeah.
work for and other things. So
But some of them ain't even working.
that's
right?
the other thing. And then
It takes two to tango.
you
I'm
get
not gonna
some.
be like,
The punishment is usually you spend some time in jail. But it still leaves the mother with the responsibility of having to provide for the child.
and then what?
So how
the
do we
man,
walk
The man
around?
could go about and gallivant because the woman should take up what 75% of the responsibility for getting pregnant in the first place. Like, okay, your sperm does not account for anything. Biology says it's 50% here, 50% there. Sperm and an egg. Like, you cannot have a child with a half of sperm.
I think the thing is a lot of men are not really, they had this gallus mentality. It's like, oh, if I could get this amount of kids, you know? And then guys are selective to the kind of women that they make kids with. They would see a woman making it by, it's like, oh, she could handle a child by herself.
This is just
Which
just-
is
just
sad
madness,
how
man.
men think, how we think at times, but
Madness. Here's another one, right? And we have some voice notes coming in. This is gonna take in some time. Some men is that nice in the relationship, and when pregnancy involved, that's the time you're saying how they man them stop. They run. Wolf in sheep clothing. Some of them have jobs. Some of them withhold information. Some of them pretend to be really nice, and you feel confident knowing, all right, cool.
you know, and someone mentioned earlier, sometimes it's not even the fact of money. You could be present there in the child's life, you know? You take the child on weekends, you help out.
You see,
You know?
sometimes you see why I say like I'm on
Yeah,
the fence
yeah,
with it. Like
pal.
why you just forget about these hardback men who just don't want to do it. Just leave them by the wayside. Like, okay, you want to go gallivant? Go on my business. Go.
Yes, Vinci's fathers need to step up and play their part because some of these Vinci chicks not ready and the men they choose is not ready yet. Wait, we have some voice notes.
You can like enjoy yourself, but do it safely.
Let me squeeze some voice notes. Okay.
Okay, press the button.
But Christelli are some ladies. Them does left and go have sex with guys for money. And when they get pregnant, how the man don't pay them for the sex, so how the man go mind the child still after? Eh?
Excuse me?
Okay. Let me play that again.
No, don't play it again
What's
because
Chris-
we got
Okay.
we got plenty more.
Okay.
What's
sure.
that's not loading.
No, that one's not loaded. You're not loaded.
There was another point the first caller before we went live made.
Hold on,
No,
let
I'm
me-
okay.
That interesting conversation that you all having me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, if you know you're gonna reach to that point there and it's where you go out and all the dating, no kid, use protection. If you're gonna use protection, well, sometimes it has happened that the man might be in a good work at that time, right? And decide to have a kid. And things turn upside down. You understand that the man lose the work and then he can't get money to support the kid. You understand? So them things happen. But again, it's two person make a child. So if the man cannot provide for the child, the woman supposed to provide for the child. That's why he need to be independent. You understand? So if the woman working and the man working and the man now work, the woman can support the child. You understand what I'm saying? Until the man have a job. But when the other woman, the woman now work and then the man have to provide everything, it's hard. So before you're going to kid, you got to look into that. You understand? You're not going to kid just because you want a kid. To go into a kid, you have to get savings, you gotta get money there. That boy, I may have money there that in case that anything happen, I may just support the kid. Even though me now work, the money is there still that you can, take the money and support the kid in the meantime until you get a work. So you need to sort the thing out the right way before you are going and do what you gotta do and get kid. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So for the future, that is what you do. Ideally, a lot of roses and rainbows and what's not. You sit down, you have a conversation, you talk about your differences, you talk about your similarities, you talk about where you stand with certain deal breakers, you speak about children and all them kind of nice things in the ideal world. But what happens when it's already happened and you have a child father that is not supporting the child? What happens in that situation there? Do I sit down at home and think about the future? Like for the next guy, or how do I deal with it at that particular point? I think that's the issue the person is raising this morning.
Okay, some man does act nice in the relationship, and when the pregnancy, okay, you mentioned that. Not like if the woman now do her points. I'm doing my points. I'm not working. This is the same person.
Right.
She says she's doing her part, and the guy's still not doing his. I'm making sure I have everything that the child needs.
Okay, so you're doing your part. Big up yourself, mommy. For me now, forget about the man. Forget about him. Leave him, let him fly and enjoy his life. But ain't a boss man. Now come back, now come back.
But some ladies take the guys back even though all of that.
No, like
as
not
Wandy
relationship-wise.
caller mentioned, sometimes they go, they know he wasn't playing the role with the first child, then they go, they have another one with him.
Right.
And then another one.
Well, another guy. Oh, that is what I wanted
Yes.
to tackle, right? Sometimes women end up in certain positions where it's difficult not to. For example, if you are financially unstable, you get pregnant, you have a child, you ended up having a child because you're in a relationship, and some of that dependency is financial because you're trying to get a job, but maybe you cannot make ends meet. So you find yourself with a person, you get pregnant.
No, we're talking about the same person. Sometimes the same person.
Oh, it's the same person.
Yeah,
Like, hey, sister, before I start rambling.
No, because I was wondering if you heard me well.
No, okay, all right.
Okay, let me
Okay,
squeeze this
fine.
other one here.
And there we go in.
Yeah, like with a man they say. Yeah, you new man could the years when the baby born, you did it, and mine you pick me still until he start to walk. And when you and the woman break up, she not tell the youth why he and she break up. Yeah, sometimes you go there with them get pick me. You mind the whole family. And she still about you with the other man. Yeah, she end up leave. You know, tell you why why she break up. You give you all kind of bad news by father, this and that. Father not mind you and this and that. Yeah, that's some woman.
Yeah, that's not good. So we have to wrap it up for a little bit right now. Something that men and women should be doing when they get in an entanglement. Before they even get in the entanglement, wrap it up.
Crystal, let that
And
man
don't
know
come back.
whether or not the mother is working, she has to provide for her child. These men just don't care. And if you don't give them sex, no money, you end up with another child.
Somebody made a very important point earlier. Like what a woman should do, the best thing for her to do is to strive for independence before anything else. Prevents a lot of problems, like going forward, But we have a sponsored segment coming up right now, so we're going to take a break and be right back.